I'm Simon McCaskill, I'm from Google, and I'm going to talk about how to reach new customers online. No jargon, just plain English about how to take advantage of the digital opportunity. So, the agenda, what we're going to talk about search to start with. How to get in search and how people can find you in search. Then we're going to look at analytics, the data behind it and what it means a little bit. And then we're going to look at advertising and if advertising is right for your business. So let's start with search. So has anybody seen this before? This is Google. And the good stuff is there are 3.5 billion searches every single day. And 15% of those searches are unique. They've never, ever happened before. Now, that excites me. I think that's an amazing stat. The bad stuff is from my research, only 0.01% of your potential audience is finding your content. And that actually leaves 95% of the web unviewed. So that's negative, but that actually means there's an opportunity. If you get this right, there's a huge opportunity. So the new customer journey. I'm going to tell you a little story from when I was younger, and it was mine and my dad's job to go and buy a TV. This was 20 years ago, whatever, and this was a task that used to happen every 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it was, and it was a big deal. And we'd go down, get in the car, and drive down to the electrical shop, and we would go in there with a tape measure. I don't know if that rings true, but this is what we used to do. And we'd go and we'd measure the TV. So we'd be like 12-inch, and then we'd measure how deep it was. 20-inch. It was like, oh, that's going to go in the cabinet. Nice, the cabinet. And we'd get the TV and we'd take it home and then we'd put it in the cabinet. And Mum would watch us and she'd say, oh, it's too big. I told you not to get one that big. And it was a struggle and we'd take things off the cabinet. But that's how we used to buy TVs. Now, that whole process now happens in 10 minutes of someone sat on their sofa. That whole process. And that's the research stage. And that's great. I think it's great because no longer do you have to be that destination. No longer do you have to be that electrical shop that the decision was made, that's where we were going. Everybody has an opportunity online. And that's what excites me about digital. So, back to that TV buying scenario, what we would do is we would go into the TV shop and a sales guy would come up to us and say, are you looking to buy a TV? Can you help? Can I help? And me and my dad would look at each other and say, no, just looking, because you couldn't give anything away. You know, it's like the rule, wasn't it? And then we'd go and we'd know the TV we were looking at, and we'd not spend too much time in front of it because we didn't want to give away that we were going to buy. And then we'd get back to the car and debrief. You know, did it have teletext? Yeah. You know, is this going to be the one for us? And then we'd go back in and buy it. And that took a day, that process. And what that sales guy didn't know, he didn't know how warm we were when we stepped into that electrical shop. He had no idea. You know, he had one question to ask us to try and get our attention. And if he didn't get our attention, it ended at that point. Now, what happens online is people tell us how warm they're becoming to your products and services. So, for example, a search of new TV, basically what I'm telling you is I don't know anything about TVs. I know I need a TV, but I don't know what I want. Then I come back to search and I put new LCD TV. So I'm telling you I know now what an LCD is. And then I search 32-inch LCD TV. And then I search 32-inch LCD TV with Freeview built in and 2 HDMI connectors in silver. And what I am telling you is I am ready to buy. You know, I'm the hottest, I'm the warmest client you're ever gonna get. And that's the beauty of online. So as a retailer with a product or a service, you can just decide when you want to get them on that journey. And it really can be as simple as that. Just think about your audience, what they're searching, and when's that sweet spot to really start talking to them. This is a video by Matt Cutts, who used to work at Google, and it's a little basic overview about how search works.
Hi, my name is Matt Cutts. I'm an engineer in the quality group at Google, and I'd like to talk today about what happens when you do a web search. The first thing to understand is that when you do a Google search, you aren't actually searching the web. You're searching Google's index of the web, or at least as much of it as we can find. We do this with software programs called spiders. Spiders start by fetching a few web pages. Then they follow the links on those pages and fetch the pages they point to, and follow all the links on those pages and fetch the pages they link to, and so on, until we've indexed a pretty big chunk of the web. Many billions of pages stored across thousands of machines. Now, suppose I want to know how fast a cheetah can run. I type in my search, say cheetah running speed, and hit return. Our software searches our index to find every page that includes those search terms. In this case, there are hundreds of thousands of possible results. How does Google decide which few documents I really want? By asking questions, more than 200 of them, like, how many times does this page contain your keywords? Do the words appear in the title? In the URL? Directly adjacent? Does the page include synonyms for those words? Is this page from a quality website, or is it low quality, even spammy? What is this page's page rank? That's a formula invented by our founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, that rates a web page's importance by looking at how many outside links point to it and how important those links are. Finally, we combine all those factors together to produce each page's overall score and send you back your search results, about half a second after you submit your search. At Google, we take our commitment to delivering useful and impartial search results very seriously. We don't ever accept payment to add a site to our index, update it more often, or improve its ranking. Let's take a look at my search results. Each entry includes a title, a URL, and a snippet of text to help me decide whether this page is what I'm looking for. I also see links to similar pages, Google's most recent stored version of that page, and related searches that I might want to try next. And sometimes, along the right and at the top, I'll see ads. We take our advertising business very seriously as well, both our commitment to deliver the best possible audience for advertisers and to strive to only show ads that you really want to see. We're very careful to distinguish your ads from regular search results. And we won't show you any ads at all if we can't find any that we think will help you find the information you're looking for, which in this case, the cheetah's top running speed is more than 60 miles an hour. Thanks for watching. I hope this made Google a little bit more understandable.
So, a couple of things I take from that, a couple of real key takeaways, is the first one is Google takes a copy of your web pages and it puts it in its index, Google's pockets. And if you're not in Google's pockets, you're not shown in search. So it's not live results. It's only the ones that Google has got a copy of. So if people are saying to you, you've got technical issues on your site, that's what that means, that you're not in Google's pocket, so you can't be shown in search. And digitally, you're invisible. And then the other key takeaway for me on that is Google's serving pages, not websites. Pages, not websites. And why am I stressing that? Because an awful lot of businesses, and I've been guilty of this as well, sit down with their website and what they want to do, and they design their homepage. They put lots of effort into their homepage, and then the other pages kind of get a little neglected. Now, it's actually those other pages which are giving you the best chance of appearing in search. So I would just take that away. Now, this page we're looking at now, this is the search engine results page. The SERP is the term for it. And I'll talk you through it. You've seen it, but I'll talk you through it. So the top bit is where you put in the keyword, the query. And those are really questions. Google is like an agony aunt, and all Google really is trying to do is connect the best answers to the questions. Then below it, you've got shopping and adverts, and they're paid opportunities inside Google and AdWords. And then below it, you've got the organic results, so the best page that Google has to that search query. And then on the right-hand side, you've got an area called the knowledge card. And the knowledge card for a business owner is a space on Google you can own. You can control what pictures are on there, what information is on there, and you do that through a thing called Google My Business, and that's free. So, what is search engine optimization, SEO? There's a lot of myths about SEO and a lot of confusion. All SEO really is trying to get as many of your pages as possible in the search results. That's it. Simply, that's all it is. Tips for doing this and doing this well. So there's a tool called Keyword Planner. It's a free tool by Google. It allows you to put in what you think your services are called, and it will tell you how many people are searching those keywords every single month. And what it'll also show you is other things, other related words that people are searching. Because that's the key thing about SEO, is actually positioning yourself in line with what people are searching. So often when I speak with businesses and they say, I'm number one in Google, and then we look at what they're number one for, and then we find out that no one is searching that, that has no value. So a tip of SEO is just really get under the skin of what your customers are searching for. And then another thing on here, Google doesn't like a lot of content. It only likes relevant content. Google doesn't like a lot of content. It only likes relevant content. And why am I stressing that point? Because I sit down with businesses with my work with Google, and I look at their blogs in particular, and they tell me Google likes a lot of content. And that's not quite true. Because if you're not actually making your content relevant, it's just more content for Google to index that will never appear in search, that will be part of that 95% of unread content. So it's about quality of content over lots of content. Then technically, SEO, there's a tool called Search Console. And what this is, a free tool from Google, it allows you to see how Google sees your site. So, for example, if you've got 100 pages and you go into Search Console and Google can only see 50 pages, you know that 50 pages of your site are not indexed by Google and cannot be found. So it's a really, really useful tool to get under that technical element a bit more. And then technically, there's another site called Test My Site with Google that allows you to put your URL into Test My Site with Google, and it will come back and it'll tell you, hey, these are some fixes that you need to do to try and make sure that you're as optimized as you can be. Another free site from Google. Now, the other thing this does is it does it mobile first. What do I mean by that? It actually tells you your problems with your site on mobile rather than desktop. Why? Because more people are searching on mobiles. So when you're there with your websites and you're looking on your desktop and saying, my site looks great, you're actually not catering for the majority. What you should be doing is getting out your phones and saying, yeah, my site looks great, now let's look at it on desktop. And Google has moved that way. Google knows that more people are on mobile, so let's talk mobile first and desktop second. And actually the algorithm is weighted now towards mobile. So if you've got a great site, chances are you'll turn up higher in search if you've got a great mobile site, So it's really key to take that mindset. And then we talked about Keyword Planner, but another tool that's really useful is a thing called Google Trends. Google Trends shows you the popularity of a search term over time. So is it on the increase or is it on the decline? So we did this over in Manchester at a university, and we searched vodka. And what you could see is vodka spiked on a Friday. Every single week, vodka spiked on a Friday. We then searched kebab, and that spiked on a Saturday. probably early Saturday morning. And then we searched hangover cure, and that was Sunday. So it was a big weekend. That's a novel example, but what that actually shows you is, let's say I had a business in hangover cures. I don't know if there is such a business, but if there is, I need to know about it. Then actually the day to operate would be on Sunday, because that's where the demand is happening online. So if I am going to do anything online, on social media, whatever it might be, Sunday is that day to be active. So that's a really useful tool to give you some insight into your business. And it tells you where those searches are happening. So again, it's just that localization to make sure there's a demand for your business where your business is. So now we're going to talk about analytics. And I think it's going to jump into the video. So the video that's going to play is basically a real-life act of the e-commerce checkout.
Hey, just that, thanks.
You sure?
Yeah.
Username?
Oh, Nick M?
No.
NM 1983?
No.
Zandy Pops?
Sorry.
Zandy Pops?
No, okay. Don't worry, I'll help. What's your postcode?
Oh, it's GU749ZT.
Welcome back, Nick Forever.
Okay.
Please listen carefully to this bread license agreement before continuing with your purchase of a loaf of bread. If you do not, blah, blah, blah. You also agree not to use any bread-based product for any purposes prohibited by United Kingdom law, including without limitation, design, development, manufacture of missiles, chemical, nuclear or biological weapons.
Tick.
I'm afraid you've timed out.
What? Sorry. Hello? Excuse... Oh, yeah, hey.
Just one loaf, sir.
Yeah, we just...
What's your username?
It's Nick Forever, but number 4, not the...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
OK, I'm just going to check that you're a real person. Could you say that for me?
It's not even a word.
OK, how about this one?
You know what, forget it.
This one?
Hippo Potter Mice.
You're in.
Great, I'm in.
£8.85.
It's supposed to be 98 pence.
Plus express delivery.
What's that?
Oh, well, it's express delivery. It's fast. So there's, standard.
Standard.
Standard delivery. That's £4.99.
Why?
Bread insurance. You didn't untick the don't decline bread insurance option.
You know what, I think I'll risk it.
It is quite close to the sell-by date.
Don't care.
98 pence it is. If you want to pop back in 5 business days, it'll be ready for your collection.
Well, I need it now, obviously.
Oh, OK. You want the take-home today price? Well, that's £3.27.
You know what, I'm going to go.
Come back soon.
I won't.
Dear customers, this store will be closing in 10 minutes. Please proceed to the checkout. Please proceed to the checkout. Thank you.
I'm a geek, but I still like that, and I've seen that about 100 times. So, but I think there's a couple of takeaways from that, and this is all about analytics now. So if I was selling that bread, and I was just looking at analytics at the top level, I would just say I haven't sold any bread. Quit my job, selling bread, go home, tell the wife, get kicked out, sleep on the sofa. This didn't happen, honest. But actually, what happened is that guy wanted to buy the bread, but there was lots of things in the way stopping them buying the bread. So what analytics will do is show you where on that journey people are stopping. So then if you're looking at the analytics and actually understanding what it is and saying, okay, well, we've got so many people to this stage, or there's an issue here, let's fix that issue, then you watch the flow again and they get further, and then they get further, and you keep applying the same process. That's the beauty of analytics, actually getting to the point where you can see that your online presence is working. It's actually giving you what you need. And then the challenge is just putting more people in at the start of that journey. But don't be naive to think you can just do this online and it's a one-shoe-fits-all and people will just go through. You know, it really does need that sort of granular identification and fixing. And what Google Analytics will show you is where those visitors are coming from. So are they coming from social? Are they coming from email? Are they coming from other links? Are they coming direct? Are they coming from organic? Where they're coming from geographically, what devices they're using to come from. And then what are they worth to you and your business? What are they actually doing on your site? So if I give you an example of that, you might get an awful lot of traffic coming to your site from Twitter, but then you look at the Twitter stats and you find out that actually those people aren't converting, aren't buying, then those aren't the right people for you. And actually you look at another source, maybe email, maybe organic, and you find out that there's a lot less people, but they're converting, they are buying your products. So then the insight from that is you say, well, actually, let's do less on Twitter and let's do more on email and search. And it's about that mindset and taking that on. And every single person to your site should have a value. Should have a value. You know, arguably one is better than 1,000 if that one person has an intent to convert. So don't get distracted by those visitor numbers. Try and get really under what that means. And setting up Google Analytics, you've got your website, you put the code on there. Once you've got the code on there, it can start collecting the data. Then create goals. What are you trying to achieve? And Analytics can report those. Understand it, understand what people are doing, and then take actions. And that's really Analytics working for you. Most businesses I see have Analytics, and it's just a number. And you might as well not have Analytics if you're not actually acting upon that. So now advertising, pay per click. And what is pay per click? Just simply you're about to pay for someone to come to your website. You might want to do that on Google, on Bing, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. But you don't want to pay if you're not confident of what they're going to do. And I like paid in a sense because it does force you to think about your website in a different way. You know, people do social media to try and get traffic there and they just want numbers. As soon as they have to put their hand in their pocket, it makes them reevaluate it and think, well, I'm not quite happy to pay for someone to come to my site because it's not as good as I want it to be. So I would just ask yourself, you know, with what you're doing, would you put your hand in your pocket and try and get someone to come to your site? And if the answer is no, then actually you've got to go step back from that and say, well, yeah, let's fix the things to the point where we are happy. Because Google doesn't want you to do pay-per-click unless you're right, because it's a short-win situation. You know, you will stop doing it. What Google wants is that you're actually getting a return for that money and it's worth you continuing the lifetime value. So it wants you to get this right. And what is a successful campaign? So there's lots and lots of factors, but really, really simply, it's how much can you afford to create that lead or sell that product. So in the TV example, I might have £50 profit on that TV, and I might think, well, I can afford to spend £10 selling that TV because I've still got £40 left. So that means I would call success a cost per sale, a cost per acquisition of £10. Now that's a figure to me. It means nothing, but it is how I judge success. And that's the key thing to anything you do paid. Never, never, never just pay without monitoring what you're getting back from it. Everything has to be about a return on investment. And when it is, when you hit that sweet spot, you know, that happy days. And, you know, I know people that are putting in a lot of money and they just want to put in more money because they're getting the returns. And that's what you want from any paid activity. And then in AdWords, you can put an ad on. For any keyword, any search term, you can put your ad there. And what you can do is run multiple ads for one search term. So in the TV example, I can be clever about what I show. I could set up an ad that said, cheap TVs, same-day delivery, buy now. And I'm going to get a lot of clicks for that, and I'm going to spend a lot of money. But then when people get to my site, if I'm not a cheap TV and there's no option of same-day delivery, I'm going to get a lot of people then leaving and not many people buying. And I caused that situation. Then the flip side of it, the ad I could write could say, right, it's a 32-inch LCD TV in silver and it's $599. So I'm not going to get that many people clicking it. But anybody that does click it, they're warm. because I've told them exactly what it is at the start. I've told them the price. So anybody that comes through, there's no surprises. So arguably, I get less people, but I get a much better conversion on it. And that's a key takeaway. And then Keyword Planner, we spoke about Keyword Planner, about finding those keywords, but what Keyword Planner also does is tell you what a suggested bid amount would be. So on my LCD TV, it would tell me, based upon what other people are bidding, how much I might need to pay to show my ad. And it's a suggestion, because quality comes into it as well, into the algorithm, but it's a suggestion. So even before doing any paid activity, I can sit down with a calculator and just figure out if it's going to be for me. And then a great ad, as we said, good call to action. If there's an offer, show the offer, and just get them through to your site, the right sort of traffic. And then, where do you take them to? So with ad as opposed to organic, not entirely true, but you can take them anywhere you want, anywhere you want. You set the landing page. So you can take your paid traffic to a page that doesn't even appear on your site. So you can track exactly what it's doing. So for example, with that, I was speaking with a business that was doing radio. And they said, oh, we think radio's doing really, really well for our business, but we don't get any trackability. And we said, well, actually, what you could do is you could say in your radio ad, search, and then set a couple of words for them to search. And then what we did is set up a landing page and an ad that would only be found for that search. So we were able to see what that radio ad was doing for their business. So they got a tangible figure to say, yeah, that return on investment for that radio ad was really, really worth it. So it's just about using these tools to your best practice. And that converts. Someone's tried really, really hard to turn that into a word. But clear call to action, show an offer if you've got an offer, narrow focus, don't try and talk to everybody. Identify that niche and talk to that niche. Talk in the language that customer wants, because you can have multiple pages. Very important attributes. I think they mean bullet points, but obviously a B in there would be terrible. So we don't read online. We just don't do it. What we do is scan. So give the key facts, in bullet points. Effective headline. Don't try and be too clever. So many times I see businesses with a headline like, we are amazing at what we do. Well, Google doesn't know what you do. It just knows you are amazing at what you do. So, don't overlook that. Say in the headline exactly what it is you're doing. Resolution savvy layout, responsive. So mobile first. More people are on mobile. Tidy visuals, make it look nice. I think that's a given nowadays. And social proof. We're going to talk about it, but, look online to what people are saying about your products and services. And I'm part of the Digital Garage. The Digital Garage is an online course for businesses or individuals to go and get this foundation knowledge. There's actually a certificate from the IAB, not a certificate, a qualification in digital marketing. And I love this because it's almost the baseline that you can then build upon. Because I see a lot of businesses and individuals just a bit overwhelmed, and this is something, it's free, it's online, you can do it at your own speed, and just get to your happy place where you can push your businesses and projects on. And then just before I wrap up, and the slides are there if you need it, is I just wanted to finish with a little tiny story. So I met with a business, and we talked about these fundamentals, these basic things, and he went away and took it on board and then completed some of the actions that followed an hour's session. We just spent an hour together. And in the next month, his business earned more in that month than it had done the previous year. And 88% of businesses are missing out. They're not doing this. So this is actually a massive, massive opportunity for taking this on board and getting great results. So I hope that's been helpful. Thank you.